All right. Let me go ahead. Why is it? How do I invite? There we go. Every time I do a live, one day I will learn. How's everyone doing today? Oh, my cat's trying to climb my lap. Hello, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good. So is this your first Instagram live?
It is.
Awesome. Well, it's very nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Yeah. So for everyone watching, my name is Patricia. I'm the founder of Crafter, and Diane is one of our newest members to join the site, which is awesome. So I just wanted everyone to get a chance to know you and what you do, and just to get to know you better. So if you don't mind introducing yourself.
Sure. My name is Diane, and I live in Cedar Run, Pennsylvania, which is in the Pine Creek Valley area. It's in the Allegheny Mountains. So it's close to what's called the Pennsylvania Grand Canyon.
Oh, beautiful.
So
Okay.
there's a lot of tourist attractions
Yes.
and stuff here, hiking and kayaking and a whole bunch of stuff. There's a rail trail for like a rails to trails for
Oh,
bicycles.
fun. Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so lots of activities to do.
Yeah. Well, I live in Florida, so we're no strangers to tourists. So that's yeah. So I did see, I was reading a little bit of your bio that you have moved around a lot, but that you really love where you are now
Yes.
because of the location, that's a good inspiration for you.
Oh, yes, definitely. Definitely. So my husband grew up in the area here, so we're
Hmm.
excited to be back. Um,
Oh, that's
yeah, so
that's great.
yeah, so I grew up in the Catskill Mountains in New York, so this area really
Okay.
does remind me of home.
Oh, that's
Um,
fun. Yeah.
and I came to when I came to college, the college I went to is near here, and that's where we met. But then after we got married, we moved away, and
Mm. Yeah.
so
Came full circle.
yes, yes,
That's good
yes. So we
though.
say we're living the dream. Empty nesters now, and I get to focus 100% on my artwork for the first time
Um,
ever.
I did see, I was reading your bio, and I did see a lot of parallels to um, both of our stories because
Mhm.
I was very much involved with my work before this, and then had kids. So I have
Mhm.
two young kids, they're 2 and 4, and decided to become a stay-at-home mom. And then I was like,
Mhm.
man, I really miss, working.
Mhm.
And so then started this business once my daughter got a little bit old enough because newborns are.
No.
Um, you don't sleep. So I was like, let's get out of that stage before starting a business.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
but that I did enjoy reading your bio because I was like, oh, that's a lot. I resonated with that a little bit, so it's cool.
Yes, yes. Well, I have to say, I actually watched all of your YouTube videos to prepare for because I am not um, technology savvy at all,
Yes.
and I don't like to be
Oh,
in
you didn't
front of
have
the
to watch
camera.
all of them.
Well, I did just to kind of, so I feel like I know you. I'm like,
Oh,
I know
that's so
you've been
cute. I love
interviewed.
that though.
Yeah,
I
and
love that.
I saw a lot of parallels between myself and a lot of the other members that you interviewed. I was like, I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
Oh, I love that so much though. But that's what I love is I want this community to keep growing because so
Mhm.
many people will say, I've been there, I know how that
Mhm.
feels, I can relate. And that's the community part of it that
Mhm.
is great. I love
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And you, I saw, have also been a teacher before for art too.
Yes, for an after-school program. I did that
Yes,
for 10 years.
yes.
Really
So
wonderful.
that,
Yeah.
yeah. And so I'm sure from that standpoint too, you're used to connecting with not only artists on a personal level, but a professional level,
Yes.
which is cool,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I've kept in touch with many of the instructors that I worked with,
Love that.
and just encourage each other
Yes,
with our art. So,
that's
mhm.
awesome. I love that. So if you had like a favorite, because you're kind of a little bit of um not everything, but you have a couple different kind of paths that you've gone. So
Mhm.
I you have abstract,
Mhm.
right? And then you have landscape, and then you have
Mhm.
floral. If those were the
Yes.
ones that I saw that you listed on your portfolio.
Yes. Yes. That was
If
what
you
I
were
have narrowed it down to. I've narrowed it down to those three.
So you're like, that's yeah. It's so hard to because I've seen that before. They tell you to like
Hmm.
make you more specific, and it's like, but what if you just want to paint whatever you feel So that's
Yes.
fun. So if you had to pick one that you were like, this is my favorite, or this is what I'm known for, or how
Hmm.
would you?
I would absolutely have to say abstract, because I just love to play with the paint. I
Yes.
love to play with color and texture. So even when I'm working on florals or landscapes, there'll be a
Hmm.
portion of it that starts out abstract.
Oh, that's fun. That's
So
interesting.
yeah, and a lot of times, even if I don't know what I'm going to paint, or if I don't have
Mhm.
something that someone wants me to paint, and I have blank canvases, I'll just go ahead and paint backgrounds.
Yes.
And they may end up being part of a painting, or they might get completely painted over.
Oh, that always hurts my heart. So many artists paint over old work, and I'm just like, it like hurts my heart
Mhm.
every time. And I understand why people do it. Like
Mhm.
everyone has different reasons, but
Mhm.
it's always like, oh, but
Mhm. Yeah.
like
Well,
that's
this is
always
my way of getting my love for abstract out and
yes.
on the canvas, and then also
Gotcha.
like I don't typically gesso my canvases,
Okay.
so I always have to have some type of underpainting, so
Okay.
that serves that purpose as well.
Now explain
Just
to me what
um,
that word was.
gesso. So a lot of times you'll put like a coating, like a white paint, or it's
Okay.
called gesso, a
Okay.
layer, a base layer
A
on your
base. Okay. Okay.
canvas um,
Gotcha.
before painting. But
Perfect.
I buy
So,
pre-gessoed canvases, so you don't have to do that.
oh, okay.
But
Okay. So if you don't have one of those pre-done canvases, you'll just paint something and then paint over it.
mhm.
I mean, that's one way to do it, I guess. Um, so one of my favorite abstracts that you have on there that listed was you have one that has a lot of multicolored squares
Mhm.
that I really liked, and then there's one I think it's a lot of green. My favorite color is green, so I
Okay.
always like am drawn to that. So both of those I was like, oh, those are fun. I was looking through all your paintings before
Oh.
before the interview, so um, but that was really really great.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm curious too.
Mhm.
You like to go out. I'm assuming are you like a person that likes to go out in nature and like explore? Because I know you said you have this beautiful area surrounding you with
Um,
mountains and woods and
I've always been interested. I've just never really had the skill to like go out and
okay,
be an outdoorsy person. But
gotcha,
my husband and children both are. so,
gotcha.
so I'm learning, and especially with moving here, I am
Okay.
learning and starting to, enjoy hiking and some of the water sports. I'm not a water person, so the
Oh yeah.
the Pine Creek is kind of like a river,
Yeah.
and not just what you would picture as a creek. Um,
Right.
yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Awesome.
So.
Well, the what part of the reason I was asking is as I'm trying to see, um, you do a lot of like flora and landscape where it's like you were focusing a lot on your when I was reading about you, the shapes and geometry and things like
Mhm.
that. And so I was trying to tie that into, do you also get inspired with your abstract work with the outdoors, or is it just whatever's in your brain, you just love to just go for it?
Um, with my abstract work, it's more the colors, how the
Okay.
colors inspire me, or
Yes.
I listen to a lot of music when I'm working. So a lot of times it's the product of whatever music I'm listening to. I listen
Yes.
to like all genres of music. So
Yes. That's awesome. That's great.
yeah.
That's interesting though, because I'm
Mhm.
trying to think. You're like painting sound.
Yeah.
You're like,
Yeah. Yep.
which is pretty cool.
Yep.
That's it. That's very interesting. So, I was excited when I read that you play music or you're a
Mhm.
musician. What instrument do you play though? Because I saw band that
Okay.
you said you.
Well, I haven't played anything in years, like a lot of years.
Yeah.
But I was in percussion. I was a percussionist.
Oh,
So,
percussionist. All
yeah, more
right.
like the mallet percussion. So xylophone,
Yeah, that's awesome. That's
marimba.
really cool.
Yeah. Oh.
Yeah, both my parents were in band growing up, so like I relate to that. And then um, I play violin.
Hmm.
I'm probably a little rusty at this point. I need to. It's funny. There's another artist that I follow on Instagram, Lala, and she was playing piano, and I'm like, oh man, now I gotta bust out my violin. I gotta challenge you, but just teasing around, just joking
Hmm.
around. But it is really cool to hear that you take music and that
Hmm.
helps you because I've heard of people being inspired by music
Hmm.
before, but it's just when it's abstract, my brain doesn't work in abstract. Like it just doesn't, like I love looking at it, but I don't think I could ever just go for it like that
Hmm.
and just see how it works. I don't know if I
Yeah.
could. I think
That's
that would
where
be
it
tough.
just comes to play. It's play. So a lot of times
Yeah,
playing with the paints and the colors and seeing what you can make. So.
absolutely. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um, Now, I did also read, other than the surrounding area for your inspiration,
Hmm.
you also had some inspiration from your family,
Hmm.
because I believe it was your father and your great grandmother, is that
Yes.
right?
Yes.
That
Yeah.
were also artists.
Yeah.
So, what kind of art were they into? Was it similar or different
Um,
or
from what I remember, my great grandmother, it was I think she was oil painter. Um,
okay?
I I was inspired by her as a child growing up. I don't remember a lot of
Yeah.
it, but my
Right. Yes.
father was an oil painter. He was a
Yeah.
woodworker. He did wood turning. So
Oh,
we
that's awesome.
always talked art, and he was a he was a major inspiration to me. So.
That's awesome. That's really cool when you can connect with your parent, you know what I
Hmm.
mean? And relate
Hmm.
on similar interests like that.
Hmm.
I know with oil, doesn't that take a lot longer to dry? I'm learning
Yeah.
about all these different arts that I have never.
Yes. I That's
So,
one medium that I've never actually tried. I mean, I
gotcha.
watched him
That
doing.
surprises me. Your dad did it.
Yep. It's to me it I have asthma too, so like the odor from the oil paints and the
Oh,
paint thinners and
interesting.
everything, I it just doesn't work
Irritant.
well with me. So
Yeah,
yeah,
that's
yep,
fair.
yeah.
I'm all for it. Done.
Mhm.
Totally understand. Yeah, because then you're not enjoying yourself if you're sitting there and you're just like, no,
No.
no. Um, and then let me see. Oh, also, you were saying that you write as well, which is interesting because we have Brianna also does writing and involved with her artwork.
Hmm.
So and she's one of the other members. And
Yes.
so yes, and so I was curious to see, have you ever tied both together or is it just to kind of go?
Not for many years. So I was actually just telling someone the other day, I'm having a very hard time even with like social media and writing catchy posts. So
Uh,
I'm like, why am I having such a hard time? I used to do
yeah.
poetry and creative story writing, but that was back in high
Putting too
school.
much pressure on yourself.
Yeah.
That's why.
Yeah.
It's so hard. When I started Crafter, I was trying to write like, oh, I need to sound more this way, or I need to
Hmm.
sound more this way, and I need to sound, and it's just, and it is. This sounds so corny, and I apologize. But the truer you are to yourself and just be yourself, I have more engagement with that than if I were to just be like robot, like forcing it. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I'm supposed to say. Like, it just, no, doesn't
Hmm.
work out.
No.
So, I, you have wonderful personality, so I know you could share that
Oh, thank
through
you.
your words. You know what I mean? Like, I have complete faith. It's also because you're learning Instagram and stuff too,
Oh,
right?
yes. Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
So I had signed up for Instagram probably about a year ago and never touched it until
Yes.
joining Craft.
Yeah, I will tell you right now, I am in the same boat because I had, and it's, a lot of people don't believe me, but I had Instagram, God, years ago. How long has Instagram been around? A million years? And I never used it. Never used it. I joined Facebook. That's where I've lived, personal
Hmm.
life kind of thing. Like that's been where my social
Yeah.
media's been. And then I was like, all right, I'm gonna start Crafter. Where are artists gonna be? And everyone's like, Instagram. And I'm like, nah. I never touched this. And there is a steep learning curve. So,
I'm glad to hear that because I've asked
yeah,
both of my kids when they were home over the holidays. I mentioned to them, I need to learn how to use Instagram. And they both said,
yes.
it's not hard. And that was their advice to me. So if
Well,
they're
okay, your kids
watching
are
this,
probably, how
I
old,
can
wait, oh,
call
your
them
kids,
out.
how old are your kids? How old are you, am I allowed to ask that?
Yeah, yes, 20 and 25.
That's why, because I'm old. So I'm 35, so that's why.
Yes.
Because they probably use Instagram, and it's one of those things where I was like, this is not, like, for me, I've literally worked with, like, Lala helped me Nora. She's a wonderful person on Instagram. I've joked with her like crazy. She's a coach.
Okay.
And so she just an overall nice person. And so both of them, I was messaging them like, I don't know how to do reels. I don't know how to do posts. Like, I don't know what I'm doing. And thank God for them and other friends in my life that have just helped me out with it. So just don't worry. That's normal. That's totally normal. But I'm proud of you now. You can say you've done an Instagram Live.
Yes, I haven't even done a Facebook Live or a Facebook video for my website.
Just a courtesy warning. So wait, what were you doing a Facebook Live for?
For my art page. I haven't done any. So
So I've done like 2 Facebook Lives. Just a heads up, when you start it, no joke, pops up this whole like a bunch of stuff happened, and I'm like, for me, I was like, what is this? So just deep breath before you do it.
okay.
I literally did a live with my friends, and I was like, I don't know what I'm doing right now, so you're gonna get to watch me play with this, because social media. That's just social media. All right. And so we talked about you doing that after school program as a teacher. And then you also had another, you taught private lessons. Was that right? Is it private lessons? So do you still do that?
I do not. I do not. I actually stopped doing private lessons back in 2015 when my father was ill. I had to make major changes.
That's priority.
Yeah. And then I never went back to it.
So when you were doing private lessons, was it any specific
youth?
Oh, for kids. I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
And what age range?
Oh, I had a couple of my students started with me when they were in like kindergarten, first grade, and I worked with them clear up through 8th, 9th grade.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
But
for the majority of the time, because like when I was teaching for the after school program, I couldn't do the elementary kids anymore because that was an elementary program.
Okay.
So I only taught middle school and high school.
And that's so great, because I guess all age ranges have their own like cool thing. But I know, because I can only share my perspective. I have 2 nephews that are around, middle school, and then late elementary, and then my son just started VPK this year. So like seeing all their different imaginations and personalities and their different art styles, I bet that was really rewarding to do that.
It was. And I always had this saying that I would say to them, when they came for their hour or half-hour lesson with me, there was no pressure.
Yes.
You didn't have to complete a project within that time.
Yeah.
That was their time to be them.
Yes.
And just learn how to use the materials. And, if we were working on a project, we would work on it several lessons at a time. I didn't want them to have any stress. There was no stress coming to art lessons. So.
Yeah. Way back when I was in, was it high school? Maybe even middle. I think it was high school. I used to tutor English. And one of the students that I had he was no joke, just wanted to fight me on it. Just didn't want to do any writing. He didn't want to read out loud. He just didn't want to. So I told him, I'm like, listen, go home, write about whatever you want. It doesn't matter. Just write whatever you feel like. He made me laugh because he was such a smart aleck. He was a young kid. He came back with, this is me writing my assignment. I don't want to do this assignment, blah, 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 blah. And it's this whole thing. Now, I just couldn't help it. I'm like, this kid cracked me up. And so I was like, I looked at him, and you could see his face like, I don't know how this is going to go. And I looked at him, and I said, this is amazing. It made me laugh. It made me smile. And I guess what? You wrote something, and I'm proud of you. You know what I mean? So it was fun. After that, I'm like, you can write more of that. I don't care. We're going to read it out loud. We're going to correct it. Everything's going to be great.
There you go.
But, you got to let kids be kids. You just can't push them, pressure on them. They get enough of that from school.
Right.
So,
yep.
Anyway. So are there any, I guess, goals that you have for the future or things you want to explore? It doesn't even have to necessarily be specifically
Mhm.
to, art. Is there anything that you have going on that you're like, oh, I wish I knew more about this, or this is something
Um,
cool to me, or
well, yeah, I've been trying to figure out how to use my art to be inspiring. So I really want to connect with Brianna. I
I
really liked your interview with her.
yes.
I saw a lot of similarities and a lot of parallels there. I was like, oh, I need to reach out to her. So,
Oh, I love that.
yeah,
Yay,
yes,
connections. I love it.
yes. Yeah, because I truly feel that I was called to create, to be an artist, and I went through a few years there where I was trying to figure out. I knew I was being called to do something, and I didn't know what
Mhm.
that call was.
Right.
And people in the church kept, saying, "Oh, you're probably called to do this or called to do that." And it just finally came down to, now this is
Yeah.
when we moved here, and it was just clear to me. This is what I was called to do. Whatever happens with it
Right.
doesn't matter. It's I'm here to do something,
I
and
love
it's
it. I
still,
love it.
yeah, and not for and it's not for me. It's not like what can I get out of it. So
Yes.
yeah,
Yes.
um,
And it must have been kind of like once you kind of have that clarity and you're like, this is it, we're going for it. It almost it's like a breath of relief. It's like,
mm-hmm,
okay, now I
mm-hmm,
know and I can focus and I can,
yep,
so
yep,
that's awesome.
yeah.
That's so cool. I can't wait. I'm gonna have to connect you and Brianna after this to talk for
Oh, that'd
sure
be
because
great.
I
Yeah,
love that so much.
yes. Awesome.
Is there anything that I'm forgetting that you wanted to talk about? Any other projects you're working on?
No, I can't really think of anything. Only other than my other goal is eventually I would like to host artist retreats.
Ooh,
So
I
that's
love
that.
that. I love
Yes.
that
Yep.
idea.
So that's.
Oh, yes. I'm gonna write that down.
Mhm.
Artist retreats. Okay. All right. I
Mhm.
see you.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's just something and I've been kicking around ideas for the last year with that. So.
Yeah. And you could do them near where you live.
Mhm.
If it's all
Oh yes.
beautiful, you find a good spot. I
Yep.
love that.
Yep. Lots of
I love that.
vacation rentals here, and yeah.
I love that.
So
Oh, I'm excited for you.
yeah.
That's a very cool idea. You absolutely could do
Yeah.
that.
Yep. My
You
second, my
absolutely
other
could do that.
goal is to possibly start doing plein air painting, which is
What is it called?
plein air, which is you actually go out and you paint on site.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So which I
So
haven't done
how,
that since college. So
yeah, I was gonna say there's gotta be challenges with that
oh yeah,
because yeah.
there's a lot, I guess.
So I'm just trying to, because I'm just trying to think because I'm like, okay, I'm trying to think logistics. So if you're outside and you're painting on site, I would just be worried about the elements,
Hmm.
but that's the first thing I can come to mind. Is there anything
Right.
else that you can think of that pretty much just that or
Yeah. Yeah. The
the
elements,
sun maybe?
and I mean you can't take all your supplies, and so I guess a lot of people work small and
Oh
they work mostly on
yeah.
watercolor or a dry
Yes.
media. So
Yes. And you do watercolor too, don't you?
yeah, I used to, but since I've tried to narrow my focus, I'm just trying to focus on acrylics, and then
Yes.
I do some painting with enamels, which is similar to acrylics,
Okay.
and that's what my small pieces that I make for when I do outdoor shows. I put
Okay.
the magnets and my
Oh, the
ornaments. And,
magnets.
yeah.
Yes. I love those
So,
magnets. You have little wine bottles and things.
yes,
Super
yeah,
cute.
yep,
Yes, I remember that. Yes. And then you also did ornaments. Why am I
yes.
forgetting these things? You
Oh,
did
because I
ornaments
do too
too.
much.
I'm trying to keep it all in my brain. I'm trying to
Me
have,
too.
okay, this is who does what, I'm just trying to,
Yeah.
oh yeah, that's awesome. But yeah, you're right. So you can't have as many supplies. You have to worry about
Hmm.
wind and
Hmm.
elements and rain and all that.
Yeah.
And then, so you're gonna do more. So would they be related in any way? If you wanted to do the retreat, would you have them do plein
Well,
air
that's what I
art?
think I would need to learn how to do, or bring in another
Interesting.
artist that
I love it.
could do that part,
Anybody watching, if you do
Yes.
plein air art, we need to connect you.
Yes.
We need to learn how to do this stuff.
Yep.
That's awesome. Yeah, because I think that would be awesome because otherwise you'd probably have to have a retreat where there'd be some kind of indoor space, but even still, people would be kind of, I guess, how much stuff do you need to bring? Like paint wise, like is it
I'm not sure. I've been reading about other retreats, and right now, I don't know if there are any in this specific area. There might be, I think there was one I found that's about an hour and a half to 2 hours away from here.
Yeah.
So I've just been trying to find, and
Be their
over
friend.
the last 2 years, there haven't been a lot anyway.
Yeah.
So.
Right. You should reach out to whoever's close by and say, hey, what do you guys do?
Yeah.
Let's be friends.
Yes.
I need to learn how to do this. No, that's awesome. I love that. I absolutely, with your background and like teaching and helping people and being inspired and all that, that all goes together with retreat. That just sounds perfect. That sounds amazing. I love that.
So, yeah.
That's a fantastic goal.
And I want to paint for more people. That's why I wanted to do commissions. So.
Yes, yes, and yes, I'm so excited. So with Crafter, for anybody who's new, watching this, we connect people to customers in the United States. So we have members join, and then people can either post generic jobs or they can send jobs directly to somebody that they really like. So that's why you guys make your profiles, so that if someone wants to send you a job directly, like, ooh, you do landscapes? Hooray, or ooh, you do abstract, I love it. And so I have lots of plans this year to try to grow the community and get more clients and all.
Yes.
Lots of plans. So it's exciting. But yeah, so hopefully more commissions will be heading your way, and big plans.
Yeah.
So exciting. Yeah, anything else you can think of? Because that's pretty much all the questions I had for you. And I love all your artwork behind you, by the way.
Thank you.
Do you have a favorite piece? That's my last question.
Favorite? I do, but it's packed away.
Oh no! If it's your favorite, why is it packed away?
Well, it's secure. Like it's wrapped and secure.
Okay.
I don't have it on the wall because hopefully I would sell it someday.
Oh, I see. You're like, it's my favorite.
Although,
sell them.
I know the one up behind me, and I don't know if you can see it because the way the lighting is, with the
ours, or the one above it.
The one above it, the abstract one.
Is that an angel, or am I supposed to just make?
Well, it's sort of a bird, sort of an angel, sort of. Gotcha. I was in right before the pandemic started. I was going to be in my first group show exhibition, the first one in 12 years.
Okay.
And it was one of my art teacher friends was putting it together, and it was artists as mothers.
Oh.
And so we were all supposed to create something that, how do we show ourselves as an artist and a mom? So I think, so that was what I painted that for that show, and it's called Inspiring Them to Fly. Oh, and I painted it for my kids. So.
Oh, I love that. Yeah. That's really sweet, because you're dedicating your art to almost to your kids, but then it's also really important. Maybe I'm overthinking this, but I feel like it's also very important to be like, I'm a mom, but I'm still me. I need to have my own sense of identity and be able to grow and do my own. But then, obviously motherhood is a huge, it becomes your identifying, but it's not all of it. So I love that. That's a very nice dedication. That's very sweet. So thank you so much for joining me tonight, then.
Well, thank you.
And thank you, everyone, for watching and hanging out with us while we talk to Diane. If you're interested in commissioning an original piece from Diane, you can find her on crafter.com. But then, Diane, if you have already made artwork, where can they find you to buy that from you?
They can find that on Facebook, DRW Fine Art.
There you go. DRW Fine Art. So Crafter for new stuff, DRW for for stuff that she wants to sell that's wrapped away. And you don't want art to be wrapped away. You want it on your wall, looking beautiful, enjoying it.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, Diane. I really do appreciate you, and thanks for joining me tonight.
Thank you, and I appreciate this opportunity. Thank you.
Awesome. Thank you. All right, everybody. Bye.